Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Transition Bridge podcast. Well, we always talk about transitions here, and they are the different chapters of our lives and also the different seasons. And so today I want to talk about a unique season in a person's life, and that's the season when you become a grandparent. This truly is a time of legacy. And so, if you are currently a grandparent, or you're about to be a grandparent, or if you know a grandparent, I really want you to listen and share this episode because there's great value in being a grandparent. And I really want to share about that perspective today. I'm a grandparent myself, and I just thought it would be really unique to just talk about this type of transition. This season in our lives is truly special, and even more than any of us really could have ever imagined before we became grandparents. We've been given a gift to be alive, to witness the birth of our own children's children. And it never ceases to amaze me. And I pray I never lose the wonder of really being given that blessing, of witnessing this new generation make its entrance into the world and watch them be raised up to fulfill their potential and their destiny. This is what makes this time in our lives so meaningful and gives us purpose. And I believe it's like almost a spiritual commission to make an imprint on their hearts and their souls. And we're in a time where culture says, well, you know what? Your work is finished. You've reached a certain age. Your work is finished. You're just come to that time. But we as grandparents need to grasp the passion of having a generational mindset, one that understands that in this season of our lives, the Lord Himself really wants to use us in a mighty and powerful way to speak blessings and life over our grandchildren and to really teach them the things of life. I believe so much in the role of being a grandparent that I devoted a whole chapter of it in my book called The Family Letter. I wanted to really highlight its importance and its relevance in this day and age. So, as grandparents, we have a bird's eye view or a whole different point of view as we observe the lives of our grandchildren, don't we? The parents are running around, they're raising the kids, but we can kind of step back and have uh, object, objective perspective. At this point in our life, we have an eye of wisdom and a lifetime of experience that really allows us to see what maybe the parents are missing just because they're busy, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I remember raising my kids, and it was really special when my mother or father could mention something unique about my children. And it was always touching and very special. So I want you at this moment, ask yourself and imagine with me as you picture your grandchildren. Now, what do you see in them? Can you recognize their gifts or any talents that they have been graced with? Do they have a sense of humor? Are they compassionate? How about being just silly? How about a kind heart? In fact, what kind of heart do they have? Can you see their potential that they don't even see in themselves yet? There's a longing within every soul to be known, loved, valued, and celebrated. And regardless of the age, the longing is really there. We want to know, what is my value? What is my worth? Have I made a difference? Do you recognize any good in me? Every person has these questions in their heart. Our family members do, our spouse, our parents, and yes, even our grandchildren. And so, what would it be like if our grandchildren can hear the words of love and affirmation, blessing, value, and worth from their grandparents, maybe written down in the simple tool of a letter? You see, that's what my book, The Family Letter, is all about, being intentional and purposeful in writing these words down in a letter that could be kept for years. Our words are powerful. Our words speak life, and our words can change a generation for good. What a gift And what an opportunity we have to use the power of our words to literally change a life by letting them know what we love, value, and celebrate about them. As the older generation, we need to take time to share with our grandchildren the great things that they have done and who they are as individuals. Recognize their godly characteristics that we see in them. This will prove to be an impartation that will leave a mark on their lives for years to come. Writing a letter to our grandchildren and allowing them to receive from us a blessing from our viewpoint is a lifelong treasure. One day they can even show their children what their grandparents saw in them and what they loved about them, and that is priceless. Grandparents, we have a unique role to play. It's unique and different than the parents. Let's all press in. Let's start being intentional about watching your grandchildren and speaking life over them. I encourage you to gather your thoughts and your personal inspiration for them and leave your words of life just written down for their keeping. A great time to start this would be on their birthday, or if there's a special occasion coming up in their life. Maybe they're getting married, maybe they're going to college, maybe they've graduated high school. Pick a specific time and write an intentional letter. There's something so wonderful about receiving this from our grandparents. So whether you are a new grandparent or have had the joy of watching your grandchildren grow, get married, and now have children of their own, you are crowned with a glorious legacy. Being a grandparent is a special honor, and each of us has the potential to make a tremendous impact on the grandchildren in our lives. Thank you for being with me here today on the Transition Bridge podcast. If you'd like to know more, you can go to Amazon and get my book, The Family Letter. It'll give you all the tools and the ideas of how my personal family has been doing this for 35 years. So grandparents, you could be a generation changer. You could be the one that could start this transition and begin something new in your family, coming from the perspective of a grandparent. Thank you for being with me here today as you each come every week to grow, embrace, and be transformed by the purpose and power of our transitions.